Okay, it appears we are live streaming Tactical Pontoon, swimming with the pontoon number 13. Now, 13 is normally considered an unlucky number. I'm hoping that that is not the case here with with this stream and with the world in general and 2023 in general. Here we are, 2023. What a good. Hey, Steven, how's it going, man? Good to have you here. I know missed you on the last couple streams. Got your email. I'll hit you up here soon. I'll definitely look forward to having you on here. It's a new year. We're gonna have some different guests. I do want to get Brandon back on from Disruptive Defense. He is a good dude. Hey, happy New Year. My Christmas was good. I took kind of a day off. I was working on the car, trying to get it done, and I'll touch a little bit on my car adventures. I've been spending actually a good deal of time on that. Today, especially, I spent most of the day driving my car around, getting the tune locked in place. Ran into something and just like triggers, I play with cartooning as well, and just because something works doesn't mean that it's right. And I came across something that had worked for me for right at 2 years now, but that didn't mean it was right. And since I had changed something else, it developed into a problem now. And so I actually had to go back and correct something that I should have corrected 2 years ago. But because it worked and I didn't really look too close at it, it worked, but it wasn't right. Boogeyman trigger gonna be sending it to you. Okay, well, good deal. Obviously, I know my way around the Boogeyman trigger. Uh, there's the pontoonize your trigger option on the website. That's the way to go, and I'll get you taken care of. I'll get it built up. Today, it's kind of an ask me anything. I'm going to go over kind of plans for the year. If you guys have any questions or something you want me to talk about, just leave it here in chat and I'll talk about it. Going to try not to go down the path of the Timney path like we've done in the last one or two. If you do have questions on Timney, let me know. I'll answer what I can. I am going to do an actual video on it. I'm gonna get in there and just I'll go over it. We'll go down that route. Okay, 2023. Here we are. I know that 2022 was a year that just it was both long and unbelievably short. When I started out 2022, I did not have a huge plan for the year. And kind of the reason for that was at the end of 2019, I thought the year of 2019 was crazy. And it definitely was. But I thought, okay, 2019 is over. 2020 is going to be amazing. So I had a ton of hope for 2020. I was extremely excited for 2020. We all know where 2020 went. There was the pandemic that hit. I happened to kind of watch some of it start because I was building my first gaming computer at the time. So I was watching things, almost all of that stuff is created over in China, built in China. So as the new year started to get closer, there was some sort of virus that was spreading. So I started watching it and watched it start to happen. But having gone through the time of bird flu and swine flu and all of that stuff, I kind of thought that it would just peter out like some of those others did. But obviously 2020 and the powers that be had a different idea for what was going to go on, and 2020 just was a hell of a year. And so that kind of tempered my expectations for getting excited at the end of years. So when 2022 was getting started, I definitely wasn't sure where it was going to go. The other thing about 2020, when I talk about the crazy stuff that happened there, being based in Louisiana, we were hit with 2 hurricanes also in 2020. So not only did we have the insanity of the unspecified virus, or virus from an unspecified location, we got hit in my area, got hit by 2 hurricanes. One was very large. The other one not so much, but enough that we did leave. So um and I can tell you, the first one, I was away from home for about 2.5 weeks. I was building triggers. It I was still building triggers. I was still getting things done. And then when I got back to the house, cleaning stuff up without power, running on a generator, I was still building triggers in the trigger cave on a generator, going out. And the thing is, here in the swamp, I have terrible signal. There's almost my cell signal is almost nil on Verizon. And the every power was down, cable was out, so there was no Wi-Fi. I literally had to drive into town, get some signal on my phone so that I could download labels, buy labels, and then come home, do the wrong thing, which was plug a computer into a generator so that I could print out those labels so that I could keep I could keep rocking and rolling in 2020. That was a crazy year. So it definitely changed my outlook for getting excited about the new year. This year it's different. I am excited about 2023. Let me catch here on chat. Thoughts some into making a single action style Glock trigger over the years. That would be neat. Um, that could actually be really interesting. It's doable with some work. Uh, yeah, away from the hurricanes. I never, be honest with you, I never expected to live in Louisiana or near the coast where hurricanes were. Did not expect to do so. I'm originally from Missouri, landlocked. We ate land animals, grew up on a farm, you know, lakes and streams and stuff. I ended up in Texas and then in Louisiana because of my career at the time working on aircraft. So I ended up in Louisiana. I did not expect to stay in Louisiana. I really expected to do more contracting work and head around the world, or at least around the country. That was my original plan. I kind of got stuck in Louisiana because uh, they they kept paying me money. There were opportunities for me to move up, and I just continued to do so. Um, so uh, here I am in Louisiana. I've been in Louisiana for 11 years. I missed out on the previous hurricanes, but in 2020, I got hit with two. I was very fortunate. I didn't lose any buildings. I did have to replace a roof, and I lost a ton of trees. I mean, it looked like a war zone when I did get back. Um, but hopefully, we don't have to deal with that for a good amount of time yet. We'll see. It's Louisiana. You never know, and I am literally right next to the Gulf. Um, California. Um, you've escaped from California, so that's a good thing. I almost ended up in California for when I started out in aviation. I almost ended up in California for scaled composites. They're the ones that do. Uh, at the time, it would have been working on Virgin Galactic for their spacecraft. Um, that would have been interesting, but at the same time, in Mojave Desert for not very good salary. I ended up, like I said, I ended up in Texas before they called me back. So I'm actually glad I ended up where I did, and then subsequently here in Louisiana. Yeah, being in California, Blade Boy, I I feel for you. I mean, our rights are constantly under attack, but in California, it's a nightmare. I definitely feel for you. It would be hard to imagine living there. I know plenty of people in California, and it's everybody says, "Well, just move out of California. Just go move." Well, I mean, that would be nice, but it's not always that easy with not only, financially, but family ties and that sort of thing. It's not that easy to get out. Uh 12. Okay. Well, you've been out of California for a good amount of time. That's that's a plus. You get sucked up inside there. Like I said, I'm glad I did not end up in California. And actually here recently I was given the opportunity before I went full time with Tactical Pontoon. The opportunity was to go to California, but again, just to go from making a pretty decent living to basically you know not was just that played into it. The 2A rights stuff obviously played into it, being Tactical Pontoon, and to move all of this to California would be basically impossible. So I was very fortunate not to have had to make that choice. Hey Matt, good to have you here. uh Matt Benoit, the PSA dagger trigger uh Jedi in training, I guess. He's not really in training under me. I've taught him some stuff. Taught you some stuff, Matt. But obviously, you're out there doing your own thing. It's good to see. And we bounce ideas off one another. Uh, yeah. Isn't that funny? How having a threaded barrel would literally be more trouble than robbing somebody. That is insane. Um, Yeah, it would have not been Edwards Air Force Base. This was actually even far their own. This was a civilian area. Now the stuff here recently would have been closer to Edwards Air Force Base. There's a ton of stuff out there. Um, but yeah, you are correct. Just a lot of dry desert area, which is neat, but at the same time, nah, I'm good. Not only the 2A stuff, but my cars. Um, my cars would not pass really any of their inspections and noise to all of that stuff. So again, it just would not have been feasible for me. Agency left California. Yes, yep, they did. I can't blame anybody for especially 2A wise. I see some of these stores that, like, say, for example, Rifle Supply in California, they've grown exponentially here in the last year or so out in California. There was F&F Firearms. He finally closed up shop last year and got out of California. Actually, he got out of firearms altogether, which, in some instances, that's probably not a bad thing. It's crazy. It's a crazy time. We've got the whole P80 thing, which is still up in the air. I'll be interested to see where that goes. Just because, I mean, hey, P80's got a place. Again, like I've said many times, the P80 thing never was exciting for me. Drilling holes. I like having a frame that's already done. Uh, I've drilled plenty of holes on aircraft. I can line up a good hole. That's never been a problem. I was never big into the grip angle, the whole 1911 grip angle. I pretty much cut my teeth on Glocks, so I'm used to that angle. It's not it's not something that I really have to have. Um, I always found them kind of be square and clunky, but at the same time, P80's got a place. Everybody has the right to build something. We'll see how all that plays out. I did notice that GST is still, the GST 9 80% is still being sold. And they've got some sort of statement on their website that they don't fall under the rules. Be interested to see how that plays out. Um, because that's kind of skating on some thin ice, but at the same time, who knows? I got to give it to them. They're out there. They're saying, hey, we're gonna keep selling, and that we don't technically fall under the rules. The GST 9, 80%. I actually haven't had one in the shop. There was a time when they first came out, I was gonna grab a hold of one, but then the supply got really weird, and then the 80% market for me just kind of fell. You know, it's just not been very big. Most people who were building P80s in the last year or so have been doing it really on the cheap. In 2019 and 2020, and before, they were I saw a lot more people that were building high-end P80s, um, which is normally where my stuff comes in. But in 2021, and then especially in 2022, it's died off considerably with that. Hey Rodney, how we doing? Good to have you here. Love the new work table. Um, I gotta build a new one out in the car shop. Uh, there's never enough workspace. There's never enough workspace. Rifle supply, yes, good guys out there. I sent them. I've worked with them over the years. Built them trigger systems. I sent them one of the new Peacemaker systems, the retail packaging. So if everything goes right, you should be able to see Tactical Pontoon on Rifle Supplies shelves. Um, we'll see. We'll see. That would be great. They've done me right. I know I bought a lot of frames from them back in 2018, 2019, back when you could get factory frames for like, you know, less than $50 a piece. Uh Matt, 80% arms of the plaintiff in the Texas I can't I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Again, I've not followed that as closely as I should. I would be interesting. Wasn't actually listed. I don't know if that is. Um, we've seen companies that have skirted around the rules, and then it has come back to bite them. Um, Either way, it all sucks, and they're definitely infringing. So we'll see how it goes. The GST 9 is an interesting little build. I've built some triggers for them just based off of my P80 stuff, and it has worked. Their rails seem to sit a little bit different, and we had to do a little bit of fine tuning. But again, I've not built many of them. They just kind of flash in the pan. I honestly I thought they had gone out of business because I hadn't really heard too much about them, and I hadn't seen a whole bunch of people were building them. There were some complaints initially on some of the original runs, and then I know the grip is kind of funky in how fat it is. Hey, Dustin, good to have you here. You had some time. Did you shoot some? Did you put some downrange for me? Because it's been too long. I know everybody thinks because I'm in here dealing with guns all the time. Uh-oh. Looks like looks like I'm having some streaming issues. It's telling me that my connection sucks, which doesn't surprise me. Uh, Out here in the swamp, and then I've got a little repeater that gets my connection. So it says that my connection is unstable. So if you guys still see me, or if we're having some trouble, just let me know. Um, let's see. Yes, happy no. I'm good. Okay. Who knows? It's YouTube telling me that my connection sucks, and it could be. So we'll just keep on going like normal, and if it drops out, it drops out, and we'll get back to it. Yes, and Dustin, happy New Year to you as well. Again, like I said, I hope you put some downrange for me. It has been too long. Obviously I do a ton of dry firing, um, but as busy as I stay and all the different things I'm doing, my range time does suffer. I actually had a small home range that kind of got destroyed during 2020 during the hurricanes, and I haven't put it back up. We'll see. Here in 2023, I could see that actually getting put back up. However, my little area out in the swamp is becoming a little less out in the swamp as time goes on. So how long I can keep a range out there, I don't know. And it would just be a pistol range. That's all it really was just a pistol range. And being that that's mainly what I play with and enjoy shooting, that works out. So hopefully this year I can get the range back up and actually put quite a few more downrange. And now that ammo is not as expensive as it was, I can afford to do so. Um, let's see. Yeah. Speaking of guys, optics and that sort of thing, what are your thoughts on the new closed reticle or closed, enclosed dots that are coming out for pistols? Um, the reason I ask is I have the new slide for "Hey MR2 Scroll, what's up, man?" I promise I got to get the car stuff going. I've been working my butt off actually working on the car, and I just need to set up a camera while I'm doing so. Um, but I was working the other day on the new slide for the the Zev, and finding the right screws for to mount a red dot is such a pain in the ass. Okay. It's such a pain in the ass finding screws for a red dot. And one of the optics that I have here, let's see, is the Swamp Fox uh Kraken, which is a closed. Now, granted, it's currently mounted. This is mounted on a VP9 slide, and it's mounted on one of their adapter plates. But the thing that I do like about it is if you were to mill the slide for the red dot itself, it doesn't use screws. It actually attaches to almost like a Picatinny style system. I think red dots really need to go to something like that. I am so tired of trying to find screws that are the right size, thread. Everybody seems to mill their RMRs for a different screw. And then each and every red dot, and granted, I mean, I only use a couple different ones, just seems to have a different height, and it makes for a real pain in the butt. Um, let's see. I was gonna order that dot. Like I said, I haven't shot with this dot. I haven't shot this VP9 in quite a while. I have the frame out at Get a Grip Customs, Sloan. He stays extremely busy. So I need to get that so I can get my VP9 back together. It's a VP9. I actually have two slides. I've got a VP9 I've got the 9 millimeter, I've got a 40 caliber barrel, and then I actually have a 357 SIG barrel for it as well. And it's fun shooting it as a 357 SIG. Um, I have a ton of different optic screws of varying sizes and lengths. It's just I just always seem to not have the right one. I don't know what it is. And then with the screws, and I tend to be careful, but I don't know what it is, whether it's the screws that I have or the metallurgy of the slide itself. It's so easy to, and obviously, you don't torque those very much, and that is a key. But it always seems like I've had to fix and tap two different slides just because of issues with threads starting to pull. Um, so the Zev optic cut, that is neat. I do like their style. I did get a chance to play with one a little while back. But like I said, I would really love to see more optics with kind of a Picatinny style um, mounting system. Now, granted, like I said, this one is actually on an RMR plate. This slide was cut for an RMR. Funny story is before the Kraken even released, I uh, literally a year before it actually released, I got a chance to take a look at it. Um, Not in hand, but I was sent pictures from Swamp Fox themselves. So however, they didn't tell me that it was going to be a proprietary mounting system. So I actually sent this slide off specifically to get milled so that I could run the Kraken on it. And then the Kraken took another year, and then the frame's been gone for a good while. But I like the mounting system, and I would love to see more red dots use that type of mounting system because I am so tired of screws. It's to the point almost for myself, and this is just me. This is just me ranting. It's almost to the point where I'm so tired of red dots, unless it's like I'm just almost done with them at this point, dealing with cover plate screws and that sort of thing. Uh, Telling you, MR2 scroll 357 sig. Love it. It's fun. Um, yeah, enclosed optic. It's just the main thing is the mounting system. The enclosed part is neat. Maybe it is kind of bulky. I mean, there's no joke. This does literally look like a toaster or a mailbox on the slide. It's kind of bulky, but so am I, and I'm lovable. Um, the Shield AMS that. Oh, okay. I know Shield always makes some really small dots. I haven't seen their AMS. Uh, Shield, I've seen good and bad on the Shield stuff. Hey James, all right, you got yourself a Zev ordered. We'll make it happen. We will make it happen. And I've got your VP9 trigger stuff ready to go. Obviously tomorrow the mail is they've got the day off, so it'll be Tuesday before that guy gets sent out. Steven, yeah, the RMR footprint, because you could mount it low, plus the RMR was the go-to option before other companies made miniaturized optics. Yes, Steven, that's correct. And there was a time when you bought an optic and you were lucky to find anything that would fit. And then the RMR just became the standardized footprint. Because before, I think my first optic was a Vortex Viper or Venom, and my first slide I cut for that. And now it's just got a slide cover plate on, and that Vortex Viper I think is on something else. I think it's on an AR, but then again, it kept running through batteries. It just never was a good optic. Then I ended up running into Swamp Fox because never really enjoyed spending that much money on an RMR because I'm not an operator. I'm not that fancy. I ended up checking out the Swamp Fox, and I started dealing with them. Built their former head of marketing a trigger. He's since moved on to another company. We'll see how that works out. Good guy, excellent guy. So that's kind of where I stuck with Swamp Fox. Their newest Sentinel, or not Sentinel. Sentinel's a small one. The Justice. That's a nice little dot. I haven't played with the Hollisons yet. I know those are big. All right, James Kraken. I like it. I actually have a second one. I was going to mount, as part of my bitch process here is I was going to mount the adapter plate for the Kraken on my new slide, and I didn't have a screw for it. The screws that came with it don't work. And I got kind of pissed off, and that's kind of where I was like, you know what? I should just go out and have another slide milled directly for this red dot because I like this system, not having to deal with screws. So that's just me. That's me just bitching. Steven, I just kept with the RMR because of the battery life. Hollison on manual mode only lasts me 3 months. The one thing about the Justice, and this kind of pushed me into those, and I like those for, you know, the screw type mounting, is the testing that went into it on the battery life longevity, uh, really is excellent, and it's a lot smaller and more streamlined than the old, Liberate was it, Kingslayer that they used to have. Like I said, I'm not a huge I'm not set on dots, and if I keep getting pissed off with the screws, like I said, I may just go back to straight up irons. But again, I'm I'm probably just lying. I'll probably stick with dots. I enjoy them. Uh brightest setting. I think I think as I recall, the now granted, he was director of marketing, but he was also pretty honest, at least the way I understood it. He did have a year on the middle setting on his Swamp Fox Justice. So that kind of helped sell me on it, and it was more streamlined than their Kingslayer. I did have issues with the original Kingslayers. They went through batteries pretty quick, and that kind of had pushed me away from the dots. And then when they came out with the Justice, I tried it out. I've got some in here with the original batteries that are still running strong. And then, like I said, when the mailbox Kingslayer was going to come out, I was extremely excited for it. Uh, like I said, I still need to finish with it getting mounted, and then I have another Kingslayer that I was going to mount to my new slide, but I kind of got off off of that. It'll probably end up with some irons. Um, how about astigmatism? I've got some astigmatism, which means my red dots end up kind of becoming red stars. That is also an issue of why I'm not huge on red dots. I like them. I think they're neat, but my astigmatism does kind of throw that off as well. Little star pattern. I left mine on auto on my justices. I left well, not auto on. I not the auto brightness. There isn't an auto brightness on that exact one. Green dot. I think my latest Swamp Fox Kraken is actually the green. I haven't played with it. I do. I'll check that out. See if that helps with the astigmatism. Um, well, there we go. Green. Like I said, the new one's green. My current one, my original one, is red. I just stuck with the red. I'll give it a try. Was planning on using it on the Zev. We'll see. Maybe I'll throw it on one of my ARs that I can't take out anymore because they're not 16-inch currently. What a mess. Truly, it's a mess. So it's almost to the point where I'm just tired of messing with ARs. It's 2023. Let's start off on the right way. I'll try not to complain too much. That's just me. It's been good. It's gonna be a good year. I've got, we've been here on the live streams. We've got some good stuff going on. I just today, yeah, the brace thing is just retarded. I just released today. I had a little hole in the drop in line. We had the 3.0, the 3.5, and then it jumped to a 4.5. I today released the TWP 4.0, which is the same as the 4.5, but I have a striker spring in there, not a 4.5-pound striker spring. It is a 5-pound striker spring to kind of bridge that gap with the TWP shoe, because I feel out of the different trigger shoes, I really feel like the TWP is more of a daily carry style trigger shoe. It does have a little bit more take up than the Gunco, so I went ahead with that. So the TWP 4.0 is live. That's available in black. The pink safeties are probably going to go away. I've only got one left, and it looks like they don't have any more in plan for anodizing. So got one. If you want a black and pink, or FD in pink, or green and pink, now's the time to get it. I've got one left. So in the TWP, we've got OD green, FDE, and black. Those are the three main colors. We will see if they're going to do any limited runs. If they do any limited runs, I'll try to get a hold of some and have them here in the shop, and I'll put notices out. The orange is gone. Right now, the orange, like the pink, is gone for now. If it does come back, I'll add it back to the website. But orange is no longer available. And as for safeties, I've got OD green, black. I think it's just OD green and black currently. We'll see. Maybe I can look at getting a custom color. If there's a color you guys want, let me know. If I get enough want for it, I'll push to have a batch of those made. So if there's enough demand out there, I'll see what I can do. This week, the end of this week, probably depending on how the mail runs, I should have, and we'll be adding these to the website, FDE on the Peacemaker triggers, all of them for Generation 5 and down, and then gray. I haven't had gray available. Gray will be available for Generation 5 and down. So not only will I have black, I'll have FD gray, and hopefully I can convince them to do an OD green in the Peacemaker shoe. That would actually look really good. Maybe I can convince them to do that here soon. I would really like that. It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be good. How have you got? What are you guys? Are you guys looking forward to 2023? Are we gonna have a good year, or is it gonna be crazy like some of the previous years? Gray, yeah. The gray. As soon as I get them in, I'll put some pictures. I'll do a post here on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube, and then of course the other social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and then the website. Obviously, I'll get some pictures. It was. I showed you guys this already, but I'm gonna put these on the website here very soon. Another sticker. That's this bad boy right here. The Thanos. It's got the snap. I don't know if you can read that. I'll get more pictures. It's got the snap. So after the snap, the rest of them disappear. James Cronin in here. He gave me a great idea. I'm going to be filming a video for this guy, which will go on the website when I release these guys to the public. Some of you guys may already have one of these. A couple of guys I've already sent these. This guy will be on the website. So we got the Thanos. It's fun. Got another sticker coming, another sticker design, but I'm not going to release it yet. We're going to have some fun with the Thanos. I will do a contest for those. I know that Jesse Hudson, I don't know if he's here tonight. I haven't seen him in the chat, but he has sent me some good pictures. I've been sharing them on Instagram. I do need to do a couple posts here on YouTube. He's been out there placing the stickers in crazy places. So can't let him win. Can't let him be the only one. So if you've got a sticker, I've extended the contest to the middle of this month. Now to go back over it, there is the top prize is a Peacemaker trigger system. And right now Jesse's pretty much in the runnings for that. Second prize is a Jedi t-shirt. And it's pretty cool. I've only got one made, but I will be doing more of those, but there's just going to be the one for the contest. And then third place is a trigger, not a trigger pack, but a sticker pack with all the different variations of stickers that we've got. So it's still going on. If you don't, there's still time to order a sticker. And if you got an idea, and then of course, in all of the orders here recently, I have changed over to the baby Jedi stickers. These these are acceptable for the contest. So if you didn't buy one of the full size, but you do have one of the little baby Jedi's, uh, put it somewhere crazy. It is acceptable for the contest. I I want to see these things all over the place. Uh, Almost, it would be neat to be almost as good as the FJB gas station stickers. That could be fun, but let's see them all over the place. I want the force to be known. Let's get out there. Um, so because there are other triggers out there, but there's really only one that matters, at least in my opinion. At least the way I go for it. There are others out there. There are other options, but the tactical pontoon is at least in my opinion, and obviously because it's my business and it's what I do, I want to see them out there. Let's change the tide. Tactical pontoon might be the small unknown or well kept secret. I'm working to change that because I believe in what I do. I believe that there are other options out there, but I believe that this is the best option and I want to grow. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I can do by growing larger, and it's just capitalism, if you will. Um, Blade Boy, hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst while doing everything I can move to Idaho, Arizona, or Utah because California is too much. Hey, man, I wish you nothing but the best for getting out of there. Um, all of those different states you listed, Idaho, I interesting. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they wanted to move to Idaho. Give you that. Uh, I don't think about Idaho very often. Obviously Idaho potatoes, but I don't really think about Idaho. I'm sure I could see that being an interesting state to live in, except for probably a little bit too cold for my taste at this point. Of course, so would Utah. So would be Utah, or close to the English. Terrible English, James. Uh, I like being down here. And you can see I've got a little bit of sweat going on. It's like mid 70s. I did not turn the fan on because I thought it would be cool enough to do the stream without drowning in my own sweat, but obviously it's got a little dew going on. Try to only buy from friends. Hey, and I would like, hopefully consider me a friend, and I consider you a friend. I enjoy watching your MR2 stuff, and hopefully soon you will enjoy seeing some of my Challenger and Dodge Neon stuff when I eventually get the channel started. It's been had a crazy. I'll catch up on some Challenger stuff here in a minute. There's not a lot of options for tuned Glock triggers. You're correct. There's obviously Johnny Glock. He is the OG. He's the big name on the block. For now, I don't stand in his shadow. I appreciate what he does, and I appreciate some of the stuff that he taught me, but I don't stand in his shadow. There's Tactical Trigger. Kind of an interesting guy. I've got a little bit of a history with him and some of my stuff. But again, I haven't really looked at his stuff directly. He talks something about a Grail pen, and I've been curious what he's talking about. It could be a variety of different things, but I haven't directly looked at his triggers. Same with Johnny Glock. I don't go out of my way to copy anybody else. I try to do my own thing, and I don't want fingers pointed at me. So I don't directly go out and get their stuff. I've been interested to see what Tactical Triggers stuff actually is, but again, I don't go out of my way to buy it so that nobody points and says, "Hey, you're copying somebody else's stuff." Same with Johnny Glock. I don't buy his stuff. I've seen the Vex trigger. I have had one of his combat triggers in here that one of the guys had an issue with the safety, but from what I understand, the combat trigger is just kind of his basic idea. Uh, yeah, Utah, Steven. I actually thought about going to Utah at one time. Not obviously, that's Utah is the polygamist or not polygamous. What's their little anyways, that's where Sloan Valdez of Get a Grip Customs is at. He's he's got kind of a neat setup out there in Utah. And I like the idea of mountains and rocky ridges and stuff, but it's just too damn cold for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay in Louisiana for the time being. Arizona is one I did consider. I, I really did consider moving out of Louisiana um, back in about 20 it was 2019. I really, during all the crazy stuff that I had going on business wise and work wise, I almost considered just packing up, getting out of here. Arizona was really on top of my list. Arizona, Utah. I was thinking about going out west. Nevada was on my list. Nevada, part of one of the things I've always kind of dreamed a little bit about would be having like an old military style aircraft hangar, abandoned aircraft hangar out in the desert to just go play with all my different toys, build cars, build some crazy contraptions and guns and be out in the desert in an old Air Force aircraft hangar. I could fill up an aircraft hangar, especially an old bungalow style aircraft hangar. Would be just awesome. Or an old one of the jobs I worked in Texas was at an old Navy aircraft hangar and military hangar, and it was neat. I like the way it was set up. Uh, it would be cool to have one of those, but that's maybe one day. Uh, Steven, I have a JG competition trigger kit, the complete kit. It's good. Did things a little different. Had an issue with the Ranger Proof trigger shoe. What are the chances of that? Not going to get off on a Ranger Proof. Not going to get off on a Ranger Proof rant. We did that the previous uh, uh, Wild Card Wednesday. That's no longer up. I said my piece. I'm out. A hanger would be awesome. MR2. That would be amazing to have a full aircraft hangar. I've worked in plenty of aircraft hangars, and just having that amount of space would be amazing. And I'm talking hangars that could fit uh, three passenger liners like worth of space. That would be amazing. I don't need quite that much space, but to be able to drive around in it with that much space would be amazing. But in my mind, I think about something a little smaller, kind of the old metal bungalow style, 40s, 30s style aircraft hangar out in the desert would just be just awesome. Maybe one day. As it is, I've got my little shop here right now, um, which provides me enough space to have my projects out in there. Speaking of projects, MR2 scroll, I was gonna tell you, tuning. It's kind of like trigger tuning when you have something that works, but it's not quite right, and then you change something and it throws everything off. Um, had a fuel injector issue where after installing the new supercharger, my long-term fuel trims were just going off the chart, adding fuel, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? Because everything was working, and it was idling at like 17 to 1 air fuel ratio, which is extremely lean. And then looking at the long-term fuel trims, it's trying to add over 32%, which in Mopar, at least with Mopars, 32% is the most actuation and control that it can have on fuel trims. So it was trying to add a bunch of fuel, but it wasn't able to. And I don't know exactly what changed, but my my injectors were scaled incorrectly. Now, for 2 years, they've worked. It's worked. I haven't really paid attention to it. But now with the new supercharger, and I should have known this. I honestly should have known this. Again, this should be car channel stuff. I should have known this because in order to get the car running correctly in boost, I was having to add more fuel than I really should have. And it always kind of threw me off, but I got it. I worked around it and it was working until I changed the supercharger. Finally, I was like, okay, we got to look at this fuel scale, the fuel injector scalings. And so I pulled up because they're Hellcat fuel injectors, and I decided to finally look at how they were scaled versus the base tune that I built off of from Magnuson. And it was completely different. I basically then just loaded in a stock Hellcat profile, the fuel injector profile into my tune, and then that threw off my wide open throttle power enrichment scale. It just threw it all off today. Spent a lot of time today getting things back right, but it's kind of like, hey, Angry Sarge, how's it going? I'm talking cars, but I will be back to guns here shortly. But it's like tuning a gun, and just because something works doesn't mean that it's right. And you might have gotten lucky in just dropping a trigger in or just dropping a new striker spring in and it works, but that doesn't mean that it's 100% right. I am a yeah, Angry Sarge. I am a car guy. I need to get my car channel started so that I can blabber on about cars and tuning and stuff that I know something about. Don't always know everything, and I make a lot of mistakes, just like I do with guns. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm complaining about these screws for mounting optics, is just because I don't have everything that I should have. Um, I'm not changing it directly for you. Just it's tactical pontoon and it's the trigger thing. I was kind of getting back around to the fact that it's similar. When you're tuning a trigger, can be a lot like tuning a car. Just because something works doesn't mean that it's exactly right, and you might get lucky and things work, but until you actually dig down into it, you could find out that something's actually wrong, which is what I found out today with my fuel injector system or fuel injectors. Um so uh so I had worked around the problem that I didn't exactly know that I had it with my car. And I kind of worked around the problem. I managed to change some limiters and change uh, and add a bunch of fuel in my power enrichment table to the point where it really was kind of crazy, but it worked. I was getting the fuel that I needed during wide open throttle. And so I really wasn't paying attention to where I was at with my short term and long term fuel trims, which I need to go back and look at some of my old logs. But with my current supercharger and the way I've got it set up, something changed in there to the point where even during idle, my fuel trims were just all out of whack. When I then basically just plucked a profile from the correct car, uh, it worked, but then it threw off all my trims and my power enrichment tables to the point where now short term fuel trims, when I'm idling, things are pretty good. When I'm just cruising down the road, things are pretty good. And like I said, my wide open throttle was just insane. It was way off. I had way too much fuel, and then I slowly had to trim it down. And obviously, you want to be careful when you're trimming fuel. You don't want to take too much. And it took several runs because I'm just street tuning. It took several runs to get things right, or pretty close, and then I'll start playing with timing again. But car's running good. It's faster. Definitely got an exhaust leak that clicking sounded like crazy. So I've got the car in place. Probably after the stream a little bit later, I'll get the car up in the air, see if I can figure out where it's leaking at. It's probably the cheap BBK headers I used. But anyways, So yeah, 2023. Here we are. Got a lot of good stuff. I'm excited for it. Uh, Video wise, um, gonna keep going with my Wednesdays and Sunday streams. I will try to put up at least one video a week of different topics about, like I said, the macro lens for like, and I still have these sitting here. Um, Connectors, who actually makes what, the fact that they're a lot of them are the same. Some tuning videos, because I get a lot of different emails for people that are trying to tune their own trigger, or maybe they've got a troubleshooting issue on a trigger that they bought. Being able to just link them to a video versus having to type it out each time is a massive time saver for me. uh, I send out the cruciform tuning video all the time. I send out the over travel stop, even though I actually have them linked on the website in the install section. Um, Not everybody sees that uh, for a variety of reasons. So they just send me an email, and then I'll send them a link to that and send them a video. And then there are other little things like interface between the striker plunger, which we talked about on about a month ago, which I saved on a video. There's that. Um, I do need to do one on connector tension, which is another one that you know, especially on your small frames like your slimline G43s. That tension is a if you don't have way more tension on one of those, you'll actually your gun won't operate just because of how thin that connector is. So just more how-to videos, more videos on tuning triggers, probably some on cars, just because I can't seem to not talk about them. So 2023 is going to be great. I'm looking forward to spending time with you guys, answering questions, going on my rants, talking about things that I probably don't know anything about. What about STI, a staccato or something? I, the market, the Glock market is still there. I've been thinking about doing something STI wise, just getting into that market. I really see a big push with those. The 320, the SIG market, I know there's a lot of room there, but it doesn't excite me like Glocks did. Glocks really got me excited about toying with them. SIG, I'm just not too excited about the SIG, and so I'm just not going to spend as much time on it as I would something like another platform, which the 2011 platform has kind of got me excited about. I know, was it Dan Wesson with their new, was it MXR, where it's kind of a mix between the 2011 and the CZ. Interesting. I'll be interested. I've seen. I know Honest Outlaw just put a video out on. He got one of the early ones. I need to watch that video. I don't know that that's going to be that. That's kind of a niche one, but the STI itself and Springfield with their new 2011 series, it's got me thinking. Maybe Tactical Pontoon will do some stuff on those, because if you're not growing, you are sinking. So I love all my Glock stuff. I'm completely committed to all my Glock triggers and all of my Glock things that I want to do. But I do want to expand a little bit, but I want to expand in the right place. Something that excites me, because if I'm not excited about it, I'm not going to give it everything. So we'll see. Yes, CZ does own Dan West. I did not really own Colt. That's interesting. That I didn't know. Prodigy does need some work. I've seen a variety of different things. If the Prodigy continues to take off, I might go that direction. We will see. It's going to depend on what else is brought to the market. STI obviously has a stranglehold right now in quality of a 2011, but we'll see. Maybe somebody else will step up to the plate. Um, if the Prodigy takes off and has a foothold, and Springfield's big enough that I could see them actually giving enough push where the Prodigy becomes the option to the STI. I mean, why Colt never stepped up to the plate is just beyond me, except for the fact that they're Colt, which Glock in some ways kind of is becoming the Colt of the firearm polymer firearm industry. So I could see why they didn't jump. They move slow. Glock moves slow. Colt moves slow. Um, so there's that. Springfield, we'll see. You know, Springfield's got their Czechoslovakian or not Czech, where Serbian, wherever actually produces the Hellcat and the whatever their other one is. We'll see. Springfield Prodigy might be one. The STI might be another. We will see. Whoa, my phone just decided to start talking. Wow, Disney is a disaster. Yes, it is. Watching a lot of entertainment stuff on crap. I don't know why my phone decided to start playing. YouTube. Croatian. That's correct. Atlas. Yeah, Atlas makes some neat stuff. Colt did only worry about military contracts, and they lost everything because they weren't expanding. And you know they had the M4 that they changed from the M16 for tiny little bits. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, that's what we got. You know, I'm looking at different things to expand into. 2023 mainly is going to be a push in the Glock market. I'll end up picking up something like the STI or Prodigy as I see things move. Again, I was excited about the CZP10. I was excited about that, but it just never really took off enough to justify my time into it. I do get people that ask me about the Smith and Wesson M&P series, but again, it's not the market that I'm not a big Smith and Wesson fan. I don't feel called to be a Smith and Wesson fan. It doesn't do a lot for me. Sig again, it's the Walmart of guns at this point. They create, or Amazon of guns, maybe call it. They create a lot of different options. They're not always the highest quality, and there's some issues. I started seeing trigger bars breaking on Sig 320s here. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. I am keeping my eye on the SIG market, but I don't know that that's the market that really calls my name. There's a lot of good guys out there for the SIG market, and I just don't know if that's me. Jesse, good to see you here. I was just I was just bragging on you and your sticker skills. So yeah, Colt. I mean, Colt with their ARs. If you go to buy one of the cheaper Colt ARs, it's definitely not Colt parts. they they do outsource a lot of their stuff, and they've shrunk to the point where they're. I don't know if I would ever buy a Colt anything at this point, and that's always been my fear with Glock is them becoming the Colt of the polymer world, and it's kind of happening a little bit. But they also have a very large. They've not only have they've got the very large fan base and you know a lot of different contracts, but their profit margin on what they do build is extremely high. I mean, extremely high. So, you know, right now they're in a good place. We'll see. The sticker war champion, sticker wars. It's like Star Wars, sticker wars. You are the champion so far. So, keep rocking and rolling with those stickers. And guys, don't let Jesse win. He doesn't like flashlights on guns. It makes him evil, even though he's probably got a little bit of a point. Love you, Jesse. You're doing awesome. Everybody else, I mean, everybody's got a long way to go to catch up to you. I appreciate everybody doing what they can to get the Jedi out there and show people that Tactical Pontoon's coming strong. And this is the droid you're looking for. gone over an hour. I do have some other things, unfortunately, I do need to do. I've had fun talking to you guys, answering questions, talking shit, letting you guys hear me complain, talking about cars. We're gonna call this a success for Tactical Pontoon. Not Wild Card Wednesday, swimming with the pontoon, and we will be back for Wild Card Wednesday. I don't know what exactly what I got going on for Wild Card Wednesday. It might be just kind of a wild card deal, but we'll be back. Maybe I got some good stuff. I got stuff in the mail. I got stuff coming. It's not here. It's crazy time of year. So, anyways, guys, little little burp there. That's it. I will catch you next time. Again, as always, if you need to get a hold of me, leave a comment down here. You can reach me on Instagram, tactical_pontoon. There's the website, tacticalpontoon.com, where you can go through the contact form or send me an email at tacticalpontoon@gmail.com. Get a hold of me if you need anything. If you need any help, if you've got any trigger questions, or you're got an idea about something, you need some questions about something you want to buy, trigger wise or otherwise, just get a hold of me. I will I'll help you any way I can. So until next time, have some fun. Enjoy 2023. Hopefully your first week back at work in 2023 is a success, and I will see you next time. Catch you guys later.